And well, shortly after the collapse of talks with Iran, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. Navy would begin blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. Well, so far, the U.S. has struggled to counter Iran's grip over the critical waterway, which emerged as Iran's most potent weapon in the war. But can things change? First, let's take a look at where things stand as of now. The U.S. Central Command has announced that the blockade will come into effect at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The blockade will be against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. However, Iran's Revolutionary Guards maintain that they are in full control of the traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. It has warned that it would trap any challenger in a deadly vortex. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has said that Iran would not bow to any threats, while Navy Chief Shahram Irani has called Trump's blockade threat ridiculous. Now let's shift focus to the U.S. military hardware in the region. The crown jewel of the U.S. Navy, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is currently out of action. It is undergoing repairs in Croatia, while another supercarrier, USS Abraham Lincoln, is currently in the Arabian Sea, near the Gulf of Oman. And just before the talks collapsed, two U.S. Navy destroyers, USS Frank E. Peterson and USS Michael Murphy, claimed to have transited the Strait of Hormuz, but Iranian state media has released a video of what it said was a warning by the Iranian Navy to the U.S. warships to turn back. Iran claims that the U.S. destroyers were forced to retreat. Let's look at this video.
Attention all vessels, attention all vessels, attention all vessels in Oman Sea. This is Iranian Sepah Navy. If you see any warship in your vicinity, keep a distance more than 10 miles from them, because I'm ready to open fire on them without any warning. This is Sepah Navy Station. You must alter course and go back to the Indian Ocean immediately. If you don't obey my order, you will be targeted. Out.
This is Coalition Warship 121, engaged in transit passage in accordance with international law. No challenge is attended to you.
U.S. Navy warship transiting in the vicinity for a report and Oman Sea.
And while the other big question is, will allies join the U.S. in this mission? While Trump claims that U.S. allies want to help with the operation, so far no country has pledged support. Reports suggest that UK has already conveyed to Trump that it will not join any blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Spain, too, has said that the blockade would make no sense. While Australian Prime Minister Albanese has said that the country has not been asked to participate yet. Now, similarly, European countries and NATO are yet to pledge support to the U.S. Let's talk about geography in particular. It will be one of the biggest hurdles for the U.S. The Strait of Hormuz lies between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. At its narrowest point, it is just 33 kilometers wide, giving ships little space to make any maneuvers. The location also gives Iran over 1,600 kilometers of coastline to launch attacks. And Iran also controls key islands in the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz, which provide strategic advantages. Kharg Island, which is located 25 kilometers off the coast, is an oil export hub with flat terrain, but easy to defend using missile artillery and drones. Other islands include Abi Musa, Greater and Lesser Tun, which are close to the UAE, coast and critical shipping lanes, and they allow Iran to control tanker movement into the Strait of Hormuz. And these islands are also heavily fortified. And finally, the Hormuz Island group, which includes Kashm, Hormuz, and Larak. It sits at the gateway of the Strait of Hormuz. Control over these islands gives Iran leverage over global oil shipping lanes, and their proximity to the mainland makes offensive operations extremely risky. So, of course, with all these characteristics and Trump's warning, we'll have to wait and see how the naval blockade happens and who supports it.